Hey, what's up you guys? I'm Sara Lubratt and today's video is going to be a writing pep talk. I am mostly doing this for myself, but because I was going to do this for myself anyways, I thought I might as well film it and share it with you guys for those of you who are in desperate need of a pep talk right now. This video is also unscripted, so it might be a little bit chaotic, but it's chaotic encouragement. Who doesn't love some of that? First things first, it is important to acknowledge that yes, sometimes we need to take breaks, but it is also important to acknowledge when you need a break and when you're just being lazy. Don't fight me on that. I know that this can be like a controversial topic. Of course, take time for you when you need time for yourself because you don't want to burn out. You don't want to push yourself too far. You don't need to stress yourself out doing something that shouldn't be giving you a ton of stress. I understand all of that. However, sometimes we don't write because we're scared of our own potential. Sometimes we get overwhelmed by the sheer amount of the project either ahead of us or the concept in general. Writing a book is hard freaking work, or writing anything at all, whether it's a blog post, a poem, a screenplay, whatever you are working on. It's a lot of work. But for the purpose of this video, I'm going to be talking about writing a book because that is what I am currently working on. Writing a book is a marathon, not a sprint. I know that sometimes I get in my head about how long a project is taking, but I just need to remind myself that good things take time and that the most important thing with writing or writing a book is showing up for yourself. One of my favorite sayings is progress, and I stand by that. Even if you have not written in days, weeks, months, or even years, you can slowly work on getting back into it by simply showing up for yourself, by sitting down at your computer or at a notebook and just sitting there. Even if you don't end up writing anything, just sitting there shows yourself that you are willing to show up for yourself and your writing. This is something that I've had to tell myself numerous times, but it also seems to be one of the most impactful things that I can do for my writing is just showing up. Sometimes that's scary, sometimes that's daunting, sometimes that feels like too much, but I'm not even talking about like an hour. Just try sitting down for like 15 minutes. Even if you have been writing really well recently, amazing, good for you, proud of you. Just try sitting down at your computer for like 15 minutes of uninterrupted time with the blank page. I think this is especially true if you cannot stop thinking about your story idea, because if it is a story that you want to read, odds are there's at least one other person out there who also wants to read it and will be grateful for when they get to. I've also noticed that something that's really important for me personally when writing is being nice to myself about it. If you cannot stop thinking about your story, that probably means that you should work on it, that is a story that deserves to be written. I strongly believe that every story deserves to be told, whether you want to share it with other people or not. And if you are one of the people who wants to share their writing with others, there are a lot of things in publishing that are outside of the author's control. Things seem to be a little bit more in control with self-publishing, but I'm going to talk a little bit about traditional publishing. I think that especially in the past couple of years, authors have come to realize how little is in the control of traditionally published authors and how much of it is dictated by publishing houses, editors, and all of that fun stuff. However, the success that happens to some traditionally published authors has to happen to somebody. So while you may not be able to set out on a path to make sure that you become that person, you can put yourself in a position that when it has to happen to somebody, it has a very good chance of happening to you. This is a little bit outside of the writing bubble, but there's a YouTuber called Dream who primarily makes Minecraft videos who now has like over 20 million subscribers and gained almost all of those subscribers during the year of 2020. He got ready and put himself in the position so that when the YouTube algorithm found him and started promoting his videos, that he just took off and he was ready for it. So that's part of my pep talk today, is that you have to put yourself in the position to become successful. You have to completely prepare for it so that when it happens to you, you are ready to really capitalize. In this whole it has to happen to somebody thing, I also want to talk very briefly about Sarah J. Maas. I was recently watching one of her Instagram lives and she looked like she was like tan and like sun-kissed. And I was really confused because I thought she lived in Philadelphia. Turns out she did, but their house sold faster than they were anticipating it to, and they had always dreamed of living in Hawaii, and so they were living in Hawaii and had been living in Hawaii for the previous 6 weeks leading up to this live stream. I don't know how much longer they're going to be there, but they wanted to live in Hawaii before they moved to LA for the filming of the A.K.A. TV show, which is so freaking cool. But then I had to remind myself, she has put in the work to get herself here. She has been publishing 2 books a year. They have been wildly successful. She deserves everything that she's getting right now. But what I think is so fantastic about her is that she has shown up, she has done the work. She has consistently published 2 books a year for the past like 8 years now. And I mean, they're like big books. They're like 800 pages. I'm sure you guys are familiar. And yes, the books that she was writing were kind of like right place at the right time. But again, you have to set yourself up so that when that happens, it's you and your books that take off. And so while writing a book is hard freaking work, you do have to put in the time when no one else is watching and no one else is paying attention to you yet in order to set yourself up for the day that it finally happens. There are very successful authors who started at your age and much older than you are right now. Writing is so cool because it is one of the very few careers where age doesn't matter. You can be any freaking age and write a book, a poem, a screenplay, whatever, and become very successful from it. When I was getting a little bit too in my head about something recently, someone told me something that is going to stick with me for a very long time, and that is that currently you are the most unknown that you will be for the rest of your life. So again, it's all about showing up, putting in the effort, sitting down, actually spending time towards the things that you want, which in this case is writing. But I think that goes for anything. Even when you first publish a book, only a certain number of people are going to be aware of it. And then as that book spends time out in the world, more and more people are going to become aware of it, more and more people are going to purchase and read it. So again, good things take time. This road can feel very lonely, but it doesn't have to be. There are plenty of other writers that are more accessible than ever with the internet, and we are all trying to do something that people used to do like alone in their offices all by themselves and not talk about it with other writers. The world that we live in now, we can totally like access and talk with other writers, which makes the act of writing a little bit less lonely. If you are worried about imposter syndrome only happens to the people that are actually not imposters. People who are actually imposters don't feel imposter syndrome. So if you feel like an imposter, believe me, you're not. Every feeling you've had about being excited about the story that you have to tell is extremely valid. It's important not to get too bogged down with the bigger picture. It is important to celebrate and focus on the small wins because small wins are big wins. And if no one has told you this yet today, you are doing a good job. And I'm going to tell you that, and even if no one else has yet today, you can always look yourself in the mirror and tell yourself that you're doing a good job, because sometimes it's very easy to feel undervalued and underappreciated for what we do and how much time we can spend on a project like a book or like a writing endeavor. And even if you feel like taking a break and you need to take a break for mental sanity or because something else has come up in your life, and with 2020 and all that happened with it, mental health issues are at like an all-time high right now. And so if you need to take a break, that is completely okay. Just tell yourself that when you are ready, you are going to come back to it, because that's the important part. You can take a break for however long you need, as long as you end up coming back. So with that, you are doing a good job. Progress is progress. Way to stay consistent and keep showing up for yourself. I'm proud of you and I hope that you are too, and you can freaking do this. All right, with that, I think that's gonna be it for me today, you guys. Thank you so much for watching. I am Sara Lubratt. If you have any other writing pep talk snippets or tidbits that you wanna leave down in the comments down below for other writers, I would greatly appreciate that, and I would love to read what you guys have to say. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a big thumbs up because it really supports my channel by telling the YouTube algorithm that you liked my video and that someone else might too. If you enjoyed this video and want to see more like it from me, make sure you scroll down below, hit that big red subscribe button and that little notification bell next to it so you don't miss another video. Thank you guys so much for watching. Happy writing, and I will see you guys next time with another video. Bye!